So, Commander, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit here today?
Well, I can't just ask Nagi to do everything for me. I'd be out of a job.
Hey, I delivered you the new recruit, didn't I?
Yeah, you won the bet. Don't worry about it, all right? I'll settle up with you later. You know I'm good for it.
The bet?
I'm sure I'm needed elsewhere. If you'll all excuse me, Commander.
Well, that wasn't obvious at all.
Huh. Look at you two. I swear, you're like two children excited about a new toy.
Look who's talking. I don't recall ever seeing you file a request to personally train a rescue before.
Is that so odd?
It is before we'd even asked her to become a blade, little Miss Stick in the Rear.
Usually I ask when I don't get your slang expressions, but something tells me to just let that one go.
Enough about that. Where are your manners, anyway? I still haven't been introduced to our new recruit here.
Commander Vandham is Blade's top officer.
In a past life, I was chief engineer on the White Whale. Same idea, basically. Someone has a problem, I fix it. You follow? Huh. Not much for conversation, are you?
So you still haven't told us why you're here. From the look of things, I'm guessing this isn't a social call.
You don't think?
No. So let's cut the crap and get down to business.
Ha! Sounds like you're learning my expressions just fine, Elma. Anyway, first we need Chatty Cathy here to choose a division and pull an assignment.
Hang on. I want to know about the Blade divisions first before I take on an assignment. Also, hey everybody, welcome back to my Xenoblade X Definitive Edition main story guide. Why did I say main story? Well, you'll see by the end of this video.
Pretty much everyone in New LA works for Blade, in one of several different fields. Helping to explore Mira, or to maintain order in the city, or, well, you remember Nagi's speech, right? There are 8 different fields in all, and each one has its own branch within Blade. Officially, they're called divisions. Naturally, you'll want to choose one that best suits your personality and your talents.
Let's start with the Pathfinders. Pathfinder's #1 responsibility is planting data probes, like you did on your training mission. It may not be the sexiest job, but important? You bet your ass it's important. We've only been on Mira 2 months. We don't know jack about this place. The more probes we install, the faster we can get our bearings here and give ourselves a fighting chance.
We've already detailed how important it is we expand the Frontier Nav network ASAP. So, for the time being, I'll just remind you of the highlights. It helps us keep Blade safe. It helps us keep the city safe. And most important of all, it's the key to locating the missing parts of the Lifehold and recovering the rest of the human race.
Okay, next up, Interceptors. You met Akeloff and Evans, right? Irina and Gwen? This is their division. Interceptors have one main duty: protect New LA and everyone in it from the wildlife here on Mira. Right now, this is probably our busiest division. Interceptors ride shotgun for the research eggheads, they escort VIPs around, and they help any other idiots who get caught out there with their pants down.
Next are the Harriers. Remember Doug Barrett, the Skell pilot conducting the test flight with Lynn? He's part of the Harriers. If you think of the Interceptors as defense, Harriers would be New LA's offense. They specialize in preemptive strikes on clear and obvious threats. But only on clear and obvious threats. They're not meant to go out and just blast any indigen that moves.
And you got your Reclaimers. These guys are in charge of finding the other pieces of the White Whale. Among other things, that is. Including anything of ours left behind after a battle. Skell debris, weapons, personal effects. It can get a bit morbid, frankly, but it's gotta be done. Until we're up and running here on Mira and have this place completely figured out. Everything we brought from Earth needs to be treated like it's irreplaceable. Also, the search for the Lifehold. That's mostly on the Reclaimers.
Next, curators. Curators are the first to scout ahead to unexplored territory, bringing back whatever samples they can get their hands on. Fruits, bugs, sticks and stones, you name it. It's not all picking berries, though. Being a curator also means being the first to encounter unknown indigens.
Next? All right, prospectors. Prospectors do, well, prospecting. They poke around, looking for minerals, resources, and whatnot. Things we need for everyday life here. We packed all the essentials we could on the White Whale, but that won't last forever. We need to be able to replenish our water and fuel if we want to survive. And sooner or later, we're gonna have to figure out how to replace things from scratch. From the socket on a Skell's knee joint, right down to the frying pan in Lynn's kitchen. Without these guys busting their butts, we'd have no future to speak of.
Next up, outfitters. All of our ground gear and Skell weaponry is developed in conjunction with private arms manufacturers, or AMs. Outfitters are Blade's way of supporting these AMs. They'll seek out anything that might inspire new weapon ideas, and even assist with testing new prototypes.
Finally, the mediators. These are the folks who keep everything hunky-dory with John and Joan Q public. Any problems a civvy has, they come to mediators. Fight with your neighbor? Mediators. Lost cat? Mediators. It's not a division for everyone. You need to be a jack of all trades, and a people person. Someone with my charming personality? Probably not the best mediator. But if you got what it takes, it's a clutch role, keeping things cool on the home front.
All right, so I think that's all 8 divisions. Any idea which one you'd like to join? Don't fret about it too much. Whichever you choose, you still have a lot of freedom in how you operate. Mediators can still get out there and mix it up, hunt indigens, whatever. And if a Harrier wants to take a break and settle an argument, that's their prerogative too. To be honest, even though it's sort of frowned upon, you can actually change your division whenever you like. So there's really no reason to stress about this. All right, you ready to choose?
Yeah, I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready to choose a division.
Yeah, and? We're on pins and needles here.
Okay. So, we now get to choose which division we want to join. As Elma said, we aren't limited to the things we can do and can even switch divisions if we want to. It's mostly a cosmetic or roleplay thing. Just choose whichever division you feel you might get the most use out of and go from there.
Then it's settled?
Yeah, this one sounds about right.
All right. Thank God that's over. By the power invested in me, yada yada, you're officially a Blade.
Congrats, and welcome.
I know you're gonna do great.
Now for the job. Let's get down to brass tacks. Nelson's team has gone missing. Last contact we had, they were installing a data probe out in eastern Primordia. Then, nothing.
Nelson. Pathfinders, right?
Are we talking indigens here or what?
Your guess is as good as mine, but they did have a Skell with them. You'd think they could hold their own, or at least run away.
All right, we're on it. We'll head to their last known location and go from there.
Report whatever you find ASAP.
Of course. Let's move out.
Roger that.
Okay, so we've got our first official mission. We've got to find Nelson's team that went missing. Chapter 3, Builders of a Legacy. So now that we're officially a Blade, we now have access to some stuff. I'll get into those momentarily. Fast travel is also now officially unlocked, so significant landmarks and FN sites can now be skipped on over to. There's also information about arms manufacturers, or AMs. We can use the AM terminal to manage them, but I'll talk about them shortly. And of course, side missions are now available. Story missions are red, affinity missions are yellow and always involve your team or other important characters, normal missions are requests from citizens or Blades themselves, and basic missions are extremely basic requests posted on the mission control board just outside the barracks, and are usually the most simple tasks like item collecting and monster hunting, and get immediately cleared when the goals are met. You can accept up to 20 basic missions at a time, but there are quite literally hundreds of these. You will never have a shortage of these to do. Finally, our Blade reports. These are the yellow info pieces that you can find by overhearing conversations from some NPCs. These usually unlock segment info to help you figure out how to clear segments that otherwise have their info locked. Alright, now that we've got our next mission, we need to head out further east from the city to find the missing team. But first we'll need to do some prep work. First order of business is this customization center. Let's go ahead and hit it. This terminal lets you do various things, such as point attack, changing divisions, and barracks customization. Let's go over point attack, an entirely new addition to this version of the game. This is essentially a training mode of sorts. You're given a dummy, and you have to challenge yourself to deal as much damage or points within the time limit that you set. You can set parameters by pressing plus, and you can set the time limit, customize your party setup, change the behavior of certain battle resources like TP gain, and can exit the simulator. This mode is entirely to help familiarize yourself with anything in the game, test out builds, and see how well you understand the combat by setting an even higher damage record. Just going through this here. But yes, challenge parameters, such as like auto-replenish TP or standard. Aux energy, that will be gone into later. Can set the time limit. And all that good stuff. I think I'm going to do a 1-minute trial just to show it off.
Scatter 'em.
Locked and loaded. We should weaken them just to be safer.
You don't see this every day.
Nice. Move in and do some damage.
I'll make them hurt.
Side slash. Swing in.
Did that work?
Then move in and strike. Upper hand.
Leave this to me.
Slide. Slinger. Swing in. Scream edge.
Did that work?
Then move in and strike. Now it's my turn.
Fire carnival.
Flame grenade. Side furious.
Did that work?
Then move in and strike. Upper hand.
And yeah, there we go. That's pretty much the gist of this mode. So let's go ahead and exit. Okay. Change divisions is self-explanatory. It can be done freely. Barracks customization, on the other hand, you can customize the barracks colors to fit your own unique style. You had to unlock most of the options in this customization over time in the Wii U version, but here you get most, if not all, the options available from the get-go. Some options may be unlocked through maybe like discovering new arms manufacturers or whatnot. And yeah, you can see the change right here. This is the Holo figure room. I will probably get into Holo figures later. But yeah, there's the sleeping quarters there. But let's go ahead and head out of the barracks now. We'll be looking at all the features of Armory Alley next. I mean, we got introduced to them, but, you know, more information is always good. Right over here where Eleonora is Mission Control. This is where we can take on basic mission requests. As I mentioned before, you can accept up to 20 at a time, though at this point, only these ones are available. You can see the difficulty rating of the missions, as well as the rewards, and the region it's for. The region that they're for, are on the, like, second tab for these missions. Like, the Moranium requests are for NLA, the rest of these are for Primordia, you know, that kind of stuff. I might as well just accept them all, right? Is that what I'm doing? No, not all of them. Okay. So, can't access the Scout Console yet. Here's one of those yellow infos I was talking about. It unlocked segment info that was previously locked. Now, yeah, I think it was for this segment right here. But anyway, now for Armory Alley. This first terminal right here is all about arms manufacturers, or AMs. Let's go ahead and enter it. At the Manage AMs screen, you can use this to check how much each AM has developed, which affects how much weaponry and armor they provide in the shop. These are upgraded by using their gear out in battle, or if you donate Moranium directly to them. As you can only hold a max amount of Moranium, this might be a good way to get rid of any excess you find. And we can also upgrade battle traits and develop new gear and augments. I'll get into those at a later time, but let's take a look at managing AMs. Oh, and you can also specially track materials for anything that you want to craft, so that's actually pretty cool. But anyway, we've got Sakuraba Industries and Granada Galactic Group so far. Sakuraba is the mainstay AM, with Granada Galactic specializing in beam tech. Each AM can be upgraded to level 5, and if there's anything I'd recommend maxing out as much as possible, it's Sakuraba Industries. They provide the most gear and are the cheapest to fully develop. Now at the shop terminal here, this is our place to shop for gear if we didn't find any out in the field. I'm going to use this opportunity to explain in better detail what gear does, starting with weapons. Let's go ahead and look at an assault rifle. Alright, cooldown shows the amount of time it takes between auto-attack strikes. Attribute determines the element the weapon uses. Ammo is a stat for ranged weapons that determines how many bullets are shot per auto-attack. Stability is the range of damage. The higher it is, the more inconsistent the damage is. TP gain is self-explanatory. It determines the amount of TP gain from each auto-attack. This can be more effective with ranged weapons, and the TP gain rating is a generalized look at how all that works. Upgrades shows how many times the gear's battle traits can be upgraded in the AM terminal. Battle traits are preset augments that can't be removed and provide certain benefits when you use them. Sometimes gear may have empty slots. You can use augments to fill these in. Finally, the gear's level means your character has to be at least that level in order to equip it. You'll also notice that it tells you which AM made the piece of gear you're looking at. Keep that in mind for any AMs you want to develop. Armors, though, are more self-explanatory. They provide defense, attribute resistances, upgrades, and battle traits. Again, though, if you don't like the way a piece of armor looks but it offers great stats, I do suggest utilizing the Fashion Gear menu. I'll be keeping my main character with any kind of armor I find unless there's a look I really like, while for the main story, I'll be keeping party members in their standard look. I just like the consistency. I'm going to cut away to when I'm done setting up my gear. I tend to take a while on this kind of stuff, and I'll usually do it off camera anyway. Alright, got some new gear. My girl's looking nicely prepared. Well, I'll be honest, I used some fashion gear because the best gear I had at the moment was bikini pieces, and I wanted her to be a little bit more modest. So, yeah. One more thing about side missions before heading off. Basic missions can actually be repeatable. I'll show that I've actually done a few here. Cleared basic missions can show up again on mission control to be done again and get their rewards again, but they are marked with a check mark. After each chapter, starting with Chapter 2, there's also a number of normal and affinity missions that become available, so I'll have a list of those missions that become available around the start of these videos. The Professional is the most noteworthy normal mission here, and it's from Kirsty. I highly recommend to keep a lookout for her quests because it helps teach you about Frontier Nav and how to make better setups for it. Frontier Nav is a system of setting up specialized probes after accessing FN sites in order to gain passive income and resources, and is highly essential for a lot of things. I explain it in a bit more detail in the video for that quest, but this is just as a heads up. Another recommendation I have is to do Miles to Go, as it gives you a makeshift gauze eye patch which has the Appendage Crusher trait. Appendage Crusher is an extremely valuable trait or augment to have, as it softens enemy appendages, making them easier to break and consequently also allowing you to deal more damage to enemies' HP as a whole. Every instance of Appendage Crusher lets you do roughly 30% more damage when targeting an appendage, so it's an easy early source of bonus damage. At this point, the story missions will be getting longer, so for the sake of brevity, I will be cutting ahead if we need to retread any ground, especially since we have fast travel. I'll also be cutting out most battles unless they're forced encounters or bosses. I feel that's only fair. Though, speaking of battles, there are a couple more things. I promise this will be the last optional battles I'll include. There's also a battle menu where you can issue commands to your party. They range from focusing on close range to falling back, and you can even issue commands individually to party members. Though it's not super necessary to take advantage of these most of the time, it may be helpful in case party members aren't doing what you want them to. There's even a setting in the system menu that remembers the last commands you give to party members, so you can essentially give them roles to fulfill, turning the battle command system into an extremely basic FF12 gambit system of sorts. There are also 5 quick commands you can do for the whole party by holding L and hitting right on the D-pad, or any of the 4 face buttons. Do as you please resets party AI to their default, Assemble has them stick close to you while still attacking, Concentrate Fire has the party focus on the enemy and appendage you're targeting. Activate Overdrive is... yeah, not right now. Finally, Keep Your Tension Up tells the party to save on TP, which could be useful if you want to save up for, like, revives or something, but they won't use it unless you reset their AI with the first one I mentioned. The full menu offers more options like focus only on ranged or melee, issue who does binding, or telling who boards or exits their skills. Part of the battle commands are also the ability to use battle items, if you have any. These are consumable items you can use during battle to restore HP, gain TP, or do other things. They're usually obtained through special means which I'll end up getting into later. You can also force an escape from battle, but it's functionally the same as dying in battle, as it respawns you at the most recent landmark you passed by, so I don't really use it.
Is that it?
Hope I didn't get in the way.
So, anyway, I figure now's as good a time as any to catch up with anything I didn't cover yet. Intel menu features various things such as your typical inventory, which tracks literally everything you collect, including important key items. There's also the Info tab, information right here, where you can review important information you overhear from NPCs. You know, those yellow thought bubbles? That. Next is achievements. This is a way to track your progress in the game, and there is a whopping total of 741 of them. Yeah. So, good luck collecting them all, I suppose. This next one is the Enemy Index. It tracks enemies you encounter in battle with information such as drops, stats, what time they can be found, and a couple other information. In the Wii U version, the more you battled a specific enemy, the more info you unlocked, but here you just need to encounter the enemy once to get everything about them. As the sorting options don't really have any regional sorting or show their specific locations, and that some of the quest-exclusive enemies aren't included, I'll try to rectify that with my videos. Finally is the Collectopedia. Remember the items you pick up in the field, the shining blue-white crystals? This is where you can submit those items. Filling in these categories gives you special rewards, especially the ones marked with a starburst background. Stay tuned for more information on how to find these items. Okay, I think we can move on now. We just need to head further east. I'm gonna take the beach here, because there's kind of like a dangerous monkey walking around. As you can see, a blade report did pop up on the screen. These are automatically for segments that already have info available. You know, just to review whatever the segment info is about. I went ahead and just passed by that Tyrant that you saw. It was the one with the, like... It was the one with the, like, the white flourishes next to their name. Though they can be, like, different colors depending on how difficult they are. South Janpath Plain. We're almost here. Yeah. That thing is large, but it's not gonna be... It's not gonna attack you unless you attack it. Oddly enough. And South Janpath Base Camp. I'm gonna do something real quick. Okay, I changed the outfits of of Elma and Lynn to their defaults. It took me like seeing them up close to realize that I forgot to change them back.
Let's go.
Let's see what you've got.
Let's keep it up.
Sometimes you're gonna come across surprise attacks like this. Just have to deal with it, unless you're able to run away from them.
Move in and do some damage.
Is that it?
Nice work.
Oh, great, another one. Like I said, I'm just gonna skip this.
Good enough. We got it. Let's move.
This looks like the skull that Nelson's team used.
Damn. I knew we would have heard from them by now.
It was definitely fighting something. But this damage, it's not the usual claw or bite marks.
No signs of the team. If they were eaten, we'd know it. So did they walk away, or were they taken?
I would suggest investigating.
Right. Either way, they couldn't have gotten very far. Let's keep looking.
Hold up, Elma. Check this out. I'm picking up an Earth-based IFF signal coming from that direction. It's Pathfinder.
That thing over there, maybe?
It doesn't look natural, does it?
No, it doesn't. It looks like trouble.
And look at this. I'm picking up readings for other life forms, too. Multiple signals, moving around inside the structure. Elma, you don't think...
They must be intelligent.
I think you're right. Look at their movements. They're controlled, orderly. They're definitely not wild animals. Now the question is, are they native to Mira? Or are they visitors like us? And if so, from where?
You think it's one of the forces that destroyed Earth?
Let's not jump to any conclusions. It's a big universe out there. Of course, we shouldn't rule it out either.
Should we call this into HQ?
Yes, but not from here. If we're picking up their signals, they might be close enough to intercept ours.
You there! Drop your weapons!
Stay calm. We don't want to provoke them.
Earth aliens! Surrender! Now!
They know about Earth? You may have been right after all, Lynn.
Maybe we can negotiate.
What are you doing?
It's okay, Lynn. Just stand down. I'm not sure why, but somehow they're able to communicate with us.
Meaning?
Meaning we need to know if diplomacy is a viable option.
Roger that.
We come in peace, and we're willing to negotiate. If you have any Earth alien prisoners, we'd ask the conditions for their release. If you don't, we'll leave you in peace.
No negotiation. No conditions. We have our orders. All Earth aliens must die.
Well, looks like we've got hostile aliens called prone. Guess we have to take them down. First off, we have quick cooldown unlocked. Press Y on an art that is currently on cooldown to use Aux energy to instantly use the art. The energy is shown as a green bar on the right side of the art's palette. If you use Aux energy on an art that's already usable, it'll actually use the secondary cooldown bonuses of the art. You can only use this feature a limited number of times in battle, but the meter gets refilled once the battle is over. There is a way to increase the Aux energy meter though, but let's get this battle over first. So these two prone have the exact same stats, but different arts, because one uses an assault rifle, while the other uses a beam rifle. Depending on your elemental resistances, I recommend prioritizing whichever of the prone's weapons you're weak to. Looks like I maxed out my class if I learned that much. Let's just get this battle done. But yeah, as you can see, I already used all of my Aux energy. But it is a very useful asset to have. Okay, it's almost over.
So much for the diplomatic approach. What's the deal with wanting us all dead anyway?
Yeah, I wonder. They did mention they were following orders. Maybe someone higher up their chain of command would be willing to negotiate.
So yeah, quick cooldown can be a little busted, and we can get more Aux energy by earning energy clips from map survey rate completion. Anyway, after that battle, we can see that we're approaching a prone base, so we'll need to get ourselves ready. Remember when I said that you can switch out your controlled character back at the beginning of the Chapter 1 video? We can do that here. I'm going to switch to controlling Elma, not only to get used to how she plays, but also because she has a special trick I'd like to show off. Now, before entering, I'm going to check the map, just to show off the survey rate reward system. Yeah, I did a bit of stuff in between the cuts at Armory Alley. But yeah, you can bring up survey rewards for each region. There's stuff like energy clips, credits, personal patches, which is a battle item to restore HP, probes, large amounts of BP, and material tickets. All pretty valuable stuff, especially the tickets, which will be talked about on the next video. But yeah, there's like many survey reward tabs that you can like look through. But anyway, while I'm also here, I might as well show off the Soul Voices menu. You can customize the effects of your created character's soul voices, and even fully customize a few yourself. This is Elma's. Let me get to my created character. Yeah. Early game, it's not super necessary to like customize these, but the further you get into the game, and especially late to post-game, it's a great asset to customize in order to have better synergy with your team of choice, no matter who they are. As mentioned before, your party members' soul voices cannot be customized. These treasures at the start will give us a couple of probes and a Humanoid Slayer 3 augment. If you have any gear with an empty slot, I recommend putting this on. Let me just, let me just do these. Okay. So yeah, in order to put augments into empty slots, simply highlight a piece of gear in the ground gear menu. Let me do. Yeah, that's kind of what my character looks like without the fashion gear. There is an empty slot here. You highlight a piece of gear and press ZL to look at additional effects, and then select the empty slot. The type of augments that can be equipped are dependent on if it's armor or weaponry. And the Humanoid Slayer 3 one that I've got is a weaponry augment slot. So I'll go ahead and put it on this. Yeah, put that. It boosts damage on humanoid enemies. And, yeah, the amount of augment slots that a piece of gear can have differs on the type. Armor can only have 1 augment slot, while weaponry can have up to 3. This doesn't exclude them having pre-built battle traits, though. And since I maxed out my starting class, let's switch out classes. I've got a plan of a specific build that I'm looking for, and I'm hoping it'll work out. I'll have a video to dig deep into everything each class offers, but I will tell you one thing. The starting class Drifter is actually something you'll likely end up going back to, because while it doesn't unlock any skills or offer any minor benefits other classes do, it has 5 skill slots, which is the highest of any other class in the game. Keep that in mind when making your build. I'm personally going to be working towards the Full Metal Jaguar class first and foremost to set up what I'm going for. But yeah, since I switched class, now my character uses the same weapons that Elma does, so I might as well just use Elma because she's more capable right now. And yeah, I might as well give this one... Yeah, I might as well give this weapon to my character, since I did that. And then just revert back to the iron blades here. Yeah. Alright, let's step foot into what looks to be the prone base. Sea-swept base.
Lynn, can you give us an approximate location for that IFF signal?
Let's see. Seems to be originating from that building over there.
Then we'd better get moving. There's no time to lose.
We are nearly at our destination. There is one final thing I want to get into as I'm, going through here. And it is the weather and how they affect you and the foes around you, as well as a full list of buff and debuff icons. First, the buffs and debuffs. Everything you see here on screen, along with their descriptions, actually have several levels of strength, indicated by a Roman numeral next to them. They can all go up to level 6 strength,
My mind is clear. This is my chance.
Put him down! I toppled him! Close in!
Now it's my turn! Appendage destroyed. Move in and strike!
I'll make this perfect.
Fire carnival!
Side flash! We need to keep our wounds healed. I should heal up first. Back flash!
And with that out of the way, on to weather. Every region has their own set of weather that happens at random, and said weather actually can provide buffs and debuffs to you and any enemy you encounter, unless the enemy has resistances to some debuffs, of course. I'll list the weather effects of Primordia and what they do. As for other regions, I'll get to them when the main story gets to them.
Thermal payload!
Shadow strike!
Fire carnival!
mind is clear. This is my chance. Side splash. Nice hit. Let's see another.
Now it's my turn.
Wild down! I toppled him! Close in!
Went ahead and got that FN site there just so that we can have some more map information. And a quick skip travel point over here, of course. Okay, we're gonna go this way, follow this path here. I'm gonna take care of this guy right here. Just because he looked at me funny.
Guard. How does it see them with a melee attack?
Okay, we're gonna have to get rid of this guy.
How does it see us?
Lay down some fire for me. Shadow strike. Back slash. Side slash. Side slash. Side slash.
Not finished yet.
Side slash. Side slash. Nice. Back slash.
This is my chance.
Alright, so check out what I'm about to do.
Shadow runner. Get in close and land a blow.
Got that treasure spot without alerting anybody. How? Well, this is the Shadow Runner trick. Something Elma can do and anybody else, like any other dual sword users, that has that art. The art makes you invisible to the enemy, but requires some TP to use. So by targeting an enemy, activating the art, and then exiting battle, you can perform some sneaky stealth if there's a rather large amount of enemies you'd rather not want to deal with. This is incredibly helpful, especially if combined with Blood Sacrifice, which sacrifices HP for TP.
My cooking got better.
They're all dead. You killed them all. In cold blood.
Fortune did not smile upon them today.
Nelson.
You filthy Earth aliens do not belong on this planet.
You seem more fluent than the others. Are you in charge?
I am called Glennar. I command this squad, Earth alien. Now it is time for you to surrender.
Hello, Glennar. I am called Elma, and I command this squad. If this planet is your home, we apologize for intruding. We crash-landed here after our ship was damaged in an attack by unknown adversaries. We were hoping we could negotiate a peaceful settlement in exchange for our friends, but...
Peaceful settlement? Your words are wasted on us. All we can promise Earth aliens is a swift death.
Alma.
Right. We tried. Looks like survival of the fittest it is. Fine then. Seeing as you know we come from Earth, I'm guessing there's a good chance we might have a score to settle with you anyway.
We have to avenge Nelson's team. If you have the TP, I recommend starting the battle right away with Early Bird to boost evasion, especially with quick cooldown, because from my experience, Glennar and his team seem to have a nasty habit of wiping my party at the beginning of the battle. The game also gives you a refresher on TP here in case you forgot the details I went over on the Chapter 2 video. Though one thing I didn't mention was that when reviving a party member, a green challenge will appear, and the amount of HP restored to the revived party member is dependent on how successful you are on the challenge, with Perfect granting 80% HP restore and 1000 TP. There's also a couple other refreshers like soul challenges in general and morale level. Anyway, like I said, start off with Early Bird to boost evasion. And like the two prone scouts we encountered before, one ruffian has an assault rifle, while the other has a beam rifle. Take on whichever one is more dangerous first. The ruffians are definitely weaker than Glennar, so the less support he has, the better. There's not too much to offer in terms of strategy since this is still early game, aside from that Early Bird thing. Plus, quick cooldown kinda negates any challenge there would have been, unless you're like extremely underleveled somehow. Also, a fun little thing I wanted to make mention, if you click in the right stick while in battle, the camera kinda like locks on to the enemy, and it kinda moves in a cinematic manner. Sometimes that can be a little disorienting, though, if the enemy moves around a lot. But it can be a way to, like, keep you from focusing on having to manually move the camera around. Yeah, we got him.
I don't get it. Why would they be so bent on killing all humans?
Who can say? Whatever the reason, this is dire news. We should let the others know ASAP. Let's call it in and head back to HQ for a full debrief.
Roger that. And here I just started to hope we'd finally escaped all this.
Escape! Yes, escape! Tatsu also want escape! Friends? Friends that leave Tatsu trapped!
More Xenos? What should we do?
Stay back, Lynn. What do you think, Rook?
This one might be safe.
Finally! Dance of freedom! Tatsu thanks you!
Interesting. One of the vegetables is sentient.
Talking potato. I wonder if it tastes different, too. I know what we're having for dinner tonight. You don't know it yet, new girl, but I'm a pretty mean cook.
You are mean, mean and cruel. Tatsu definitely not potato. Tatsu explained this to dumb and smelly Prone when they take Tatsu, but Prone not listen. Prone never listen. On Nopon Rue Day, Prone first set sticky feet on Mira. Especially Tatsu. Tatsu witnessed Prone abuse firsthand. At this rate, entire Nopon race in danger. Yes, Nopon are endangered species. So really, friends have social responsibility to protect Tatsu from danger.
Uh-huh. What do you think, Elma? Bake or fry?
Wait a minute. The beings who captured you, big brutes in armor, little pointy ears?
Yes, Prone!
And they're a more recent arrival here, is that right? They're not native to this planet?
Not native, recent. If friends want more details, friends must promise to protect Tatsu. Only then will Tatsu talk.
Right. Elma, you hold him. I'll peel.
Tatsu will talk! Tatsu will talk! Friends not get Nopon sense of humor is all.
So if I understand correctly, this is your homeworld. The Nopon people are native to Mira. And then just recently, the Prone show up and quickly hunt you to the edge of extinction. Is that right?
Not just Prone. Prone and their nasty, evil buddies. Lots and lots of them.
They're buddies? You mean other alien races?
Other hungry alien races. They all gang up on Nopon. They do horrible, terrible things to Nopon. Someday, Tatsu will turn tables and eat them for a change.
So, this thing calls itself Tatsu? Better hope Shredder's not around. But, we saved you, guy.
Then, you'll help Tatsu? Protect Tatsu? Oh, happy day! It's settled then. In return, Tatsu will accompany friends back to their village.
What do you think? Take him with us?
He seems harmless enough. And he'd be a good source of information on Mira and the Prone. All right. We can debrief him when we report to Commander Vandham. As long as he passes the quarantine scan, we can bring him back to New LA.
Right. Let's get that out of the way. All clear.
Then Tatsu can join friends? Dance of joy! New friends are friendliest friends ever! I know! Tatsu has special thank you gift for friends for saving Tatsu's life. Tatsu will lend it to friends for free.
Lend? It's not a gift if you don't give it.
Give it away? For always? For free? This would be insulting to friends and to Tatsu. No Nopon merchant worth his salt and pepper could do such a thing. Tatsu is grateful, but Tatsu not insane.
What? It's insane to think if someone saves your life, you might actually show them some real... And he's not even listening.
Friend, do you ever get lost? Tired of bulky maps and flawed memory?
Au contraire. Not all who wander are lost, my friend.
Friend jokes with Tatsu. Joke funny now, but joke not so funny when friend wander into Loafenville Lake on accident. Presenting Follow Ball! Follow Ball is #1 ultimate best super secret must-have Nopon item. If friends get lost out in wild, friends just follow Ball of Light to safety. And now it's yours, for free, to borrow! For now, anyway.
Really? Follow Ball? That's the best name you could come up with for your super special thing?
Meh, meh, meh! What would friend prefer? Fancy name no one understands so friend can feel smart? Now, time for Nopon Dance of Generosity.
I don't know. Is that thing really gonna be all that useful? What if it's a trap, or boom, it just blows up in our faces?
Ah yes, that reminds Tatsu. If Follow Ball get damaged, Tatsu need to charge friends full price, plus restock fee.
So much for Dance of Generosity.
I can tell this furball's gonna be a real joy. So we now got the follow ball, which gives us direct guidance on any mission we mark as active. Just head into the missions menu, highlight a mission, and then press Y to make that mission active. And then send out follow ball by holding R and pressing X. Let me just do that real quick. It'll leave a guideline to your next destination, though sometimes it gets lost. But that's a feature, according to the little fuzzball. But yeah, as you can see, it goes for quite a distance. At any rate, let's head back to NLA. We can just fast travel over to the city and meet back at the barracks.
Damn, losing Nelson's team is a real blow. But the fact we're not the only visitors on this rock is even worse.
They made it clear they want all humans dead. For all we know, they may be related to the forces that destroyed Earth and followed us here.
Wonderful. I'll report this to Secretary Nagi. See if we can't bolster our defenses. Just one last thing. What the bloody hell is this dancing turnip doing here?
He's actually a potato.
Tatsu, not turnip or potato. For last time, Tatsu is not food. Now, on behalf of Planet Mira, Tatsu welcome all Earth people and offer a friendly treaty of friendship.
Yeah, right. Anyway, we were thinking he could be a good source of general intel about the planet. Exactly how useful that'll be remains to be seen.
Oh, don't you worry about a thing. Friend's totally safe now that Tatsu is in town. Tatsu watch over and protect friends, especially weak, pathetic Lindley with her thin, bony wings.
You mean my arms? Look who's talking. And who said anything about you coming with us? You can stay here, you greedy, annoying little cabbage. I'm sure there's a salad here that could use you.
Meh? Tatsu stay here? Friends would leave Tatsu behind?
It's for the best. You said yourself your people are endangered, and the Xenos that captured you might still be out there. You'll be safest here in the city.
Agreed.
Tatsu not agreed. Friends will want Tatsu along. Friends need Tatsu along.
How so?
What? Well, that, of course. This planet have many helpful Nopon that Tatsu can talk to. Other Nopon can share information for friends.
That might be useful.
That right. Most Nopon not like Tatsu. Nopon can be shy. Nopon can be difficult. Most Nopon never trust friends or even talk to friends. But Tatsu? Nopon love Tatsu. Tatsu use smooth talk and winning personality to get friends good info.
The tater tot has a point.
Uh-huh. More like an ulterior motive, if you ask me.
Tatsu perish the thought. Tatsu intentions are pure, Lindley. Pure as snow. Lindley intimidated by Tatsu's strength and smarts, but do not worry, Tatsu is true friend.
Strength and smarts, huh? That's really not what I'm worried about here.
All right, then it's settled. Small Fry here will accompany you three out in the field. After all, we can use all the info we can get.
Seriously? We have to babysit this thing?
You're the ones who picked him up. Besides, would you really want to leave him with another team?
Maybe not. Unless we were invited to the meal, I mean.
See? Already getting along like peas and carrots. He can be your charge, Lynn.
Oh, come on, Commander! That's not funny! I've got my hands full out there! This is so unfair. Back me up here, would you, Elma?
I'm sure Elma has no objections.
Right. As you say, Commander.
Done and done. Welcome to Blade, Tater. We'll be counting on you.
Yes, sir! And it's Tatsu. Oh, one thing Tatsu forgot to mention. Nopon are pacifists, so friends need to defend Tatsu, keep extra super safe in any battle. Tatsu VIP diplomat, after all.
And why am I not surprised? So much for him watching over and protecting us.
And that's it for Chapter 3. Lengthier chapter than what we've gotten so far, and it's largely because of the trek we had to go through. Now, I'm not quite done yet with the video, because remember the Blade divisions and how I've been constantly saying to stay tuned on various topics? Well, that's where this is coming in. Because, due to the nature of this game, there will be several guides aside from the main story that will be dealing with various topics, and I'm going to be naming them after the divisions, because I thought that'd just be neat. To introduce what the purpose of these guides will be, the Pathfinder's Guide involves pinpointing all the locations and landmarks scattered throughout Mira, separated per continent. Use this if you want some help with discovery, just look for this logo in the thumbnails. The Interceptor's Guide will help you fill out the enemy index. Except for story and quest-related enemies and bosses, this will be your one-stop shop for learning everything about the indigens of the planet. Look for this logo in the video thumbnails. The Harrier's Guide is similar to the Interceptor's, but specializes only in finding and eliminating Tyrants. You'll be given some tips and tricks with dealing with each of them. Videos under this guide will have this logo in the thumbnails. The Reclaimer's Guide is all about finding the treasure spots scattered throughout Mira. Though in-game they only find wreckage of the White Whale and other stuff, I want to include all kinds just to put everything in one spot. Look for this logo in the thumbnails for videos under this guide. The Curator's Guide is all about the Collectopedia and the Holofigure collection. It'll go into what items can be found and where. Pretty self-explanatory. Just look for this logo if you want help with filling these out. The Prospector's Guide will be covering everything regarding Frontier Nav, from an in-depth look at the segment map to how to best use data probe mining. Segment map videos are separated by continent. If you want to find videos under this guide, look for this icon. The Outfitter's Guide is all about armors, weaponry, and the arms manufacturers making them, along with other related stuff like classes, skills, and arts. You can also find character primers for all recruitable party members. Look for this logo up for any videos under this guide. Finally, the Mediator's Guide is for covering side quests. Basic missions are covered by continent, Blade Terminal missions are covered by category, and normal and affinity missions get their own videos each. This will be the largest guide of all. Just look for this logo to find videos under this guide. So with all that said, in the description of each Xenoblade X video, if you haven't noticed, is a link to a spreadsheet I made with hot links to every video I make, categorized by each side guide. I figured this would be a nicer way to organize everything rather than having to rely on just a single playlist, considering the sheer number of different videos. So, aside from alternate dialogue choices next, that is everything important covered for the video. This has been Mr. Bacon Bits with Xenoblade X Definitive Edition. Stay safe, happy, and healthy, and I'll see you guys later.
Elma. Anyway, first we need Chatty Cathy here to choose a division and pull an assignment. Whoa there, Itchy Trigger. I know you're just chafing at the bit to run out there and grab the world by its tail, but you need to choose a division first. Once that's all hashed out, we can get into detail about what your first assignment's gonna be.
Pretty much everyone in New LA works for Blade, in one of several different fields. There's really no reason to stress about this. Alright, you ready to choose?
Oh, for the lover. Fine. Once more from the top.
Pretty much everyone in New LA works for Blade, in one...
Yeah, and? We're on pins and needles here.
Pretty much everyone in New LA works for Blade. Then it's settled? Of the team. If they were eaten, we'd know it. So did they walk away, or were they taken? The job's not finished. We have more questions now than when we started. We'll head back once we find some answers. Until then, we keep looking.
Hold up, Elma. Check this out. Multiple signals, moving around inside the structure. Elma, you don't think...
No. Look at their movements. They're controlled, orderly. They're definitely not wild animals.
Surrender! Now!
They know about Earth? You may have been right after all, Lynn. Stand down! Did you already forget my first lesson? Fighting is a last resort. Our friends here appear to be able to speak our language. Which means we need to find out if diplomacy is a viable option.
You're right. More Xenos? What should we do?
Stay back, Lynn. What do you think, Rook? Yeah. Let's leave this stone unturned.
Better safe, right?
Tatsu's in! And Tatsu not stone! Mama Pan always said Tatsu should help friends in need. This time, Tatsu needs friends' help! Dark! So dark! Tatsu can't breathe! Three alien races. They all gang up on Nopon. They do horrible, terrible things to Nopon. Someday, Tatsu will turn tables and eat them for a change. Tatsu has seen those eyes before. Hungry eyes, like prone eyes. Tatsu is here to serve, not be served.
Yeah, seriously. What kind of barbarian would want to eat this little guy just like that? We should take care of him. Wash and clean him, season him.
That's right, that's right! This is exactly what Tatsu is saying! Take Tatsu to your village, wash and clean Tatsu, season Tatsu! Wait.
What do you think? Take him with us?
He seems
Friend, do you ever get lost? Tired of bulky maps and flawed memory? There is a better way. Friends, this is your lucky day.